Welcome, welcome. Check the echo, please.
Already did.
Okay. How you guys doing today? I see Roberta and Mary, Kathy girl, Andrea, Brenda Pinch, Wanda. Hi, everybody. Wanda, we still have not caught up, my friend, but we haven't had the boards yet, so I haven't made more of those kits yet, but we could catch up anytime. So we still need to catch up. And let's see, did I catch everybody? I know I just talked to Betty McSorley a few minutes ago, so I know she's going to be joining us if she's not on yet. And if I missed anybody, I'm sorry. I think we'll, if we start right out with Teddy Cam, we might miss Mary R. Is Mary R already on here? Okay. All right. Well, one thing I know from the survey is that one of our most popular features is Teddy Cam. Sit, please. Sit, please. There he is. Yes. Hi. Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy. Hey, come here. Come here. Let me scratch your ear. Oh, boy, he said. I do like that. I have to be careful with scratching his ears too much, so he'll just go off to sleep. Look at him. Just turn into a little lip rag doll. Everybody likes Teddy Cam. Almost everybody said if you had to cut it out, I could live with. Well, not everybody said that. A couple of people said if you had to cut it out for time, I could live with it, but I wouldn't be happy about it. And most of you said Teddy Cam has to stay. Teddy is our buddy, and he has an important part to play. So there we go. There's our Teddy Cam footage for the day. Thank you, Andrea. That's nice. I like this bright blue. It's a good color. It's one of my second or third favorite colors, this color. Okay. Oh, he loves having his chin rubbed. He really, really loves that. Loves having his ears rubbed too. Okay, give me a kiss. Hey, you got a kiss for me. I'll give one to you. Okay, off you go. All right, we're gonna do fun stuff today. Fun stuff today. So, what are our options for where that picture is located, honey?
You have 3 options.
Okay, show us our options.
So option 1 is this one.
Okay.
Option 2 is that one.
Okay.
And option 3 is this one.
Oh, half and half or the bottom. It doesn't let you drag it elsewhere.
You pick one of the preset ones.
Okay, let me see the first one, the second one again. I don't know. Let's try. Well, I don't know. It's going to be in the way no matter what.
Yeah, when you zoom in, that one will be in the way.
Okay. I'm trying, guys, to accommodate what you said about the little picture-in-picture getting in the way. Maybe we just turn it off.
Well, I moved the cameras, so it's technically not in the way at the moment. It's when you zoom in that you'll want to turn it off.
Okay.
So we'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what we're using today. My supplies are kind of messy because they have been very well used, but I will still show you what we're going to use in our class today. Because, like I said, my supplies are a little messy, but we get the stamping magazine. This is just chock full of great ideas. I mean, there are really some fun ones in here with shaped cards, and I love this one where they're doing a kind of stepper in front. There's just some really, really good, fun pictures. I love this one with the non-traditional colors. They have one that's just all the bugs. There's just lots and lots of fun examples in this magazine this time. There usually are, but this one this seems like the Creative Stamping magazine. They do a particularly rich job of giving us great examples. This stamp set is just fabulous. It's an A4 stamp set. We've talked about this before, but if you were to buy this A4 stamp set in the United States, this would be $20 to $25. Do you agree with that, Margie? 20 to 25 bucks, because a half sheet is like $18.
Sure.
So you would easily be into $20 to $25 just for the stamps in the US. But this is included with the magazine here. Thought?
Quick, or else I will not have the opportunity to remember all the names. Say hello to Betty Gozzle, Betty McSorley, Stephanie, and Glenn.
Hello, Betty Square. Betty and Betty. Hi, Glenn. Hi, Mary R.
And Stephanie.
And Stephanie. Welcome, welcome. I can see Margie over there just in pain, like she was trying to remember something.
Too many names flashing by.
We are going to use both. You don't have to have both styles. I just happen to have them here and available, so I used both. I'm using European A6, which we know are the 4 1/8 by 5 7/8. These are from Craft Style. They're 300 GSM. But I'm also using some of the American A6, which are 4 1/2 by 6 1/2. So I'm using some American A6 as well. Why? Because they were sitting on my table, but that's what I'm using. Therefore, that's what's in your kit. You will also get some black cardstock. This is really lightweight. It's more black paper than cardstock. You're going to get some black paper for our layering. And we included some 6x6 stamping cards so that we can stamp our images separately and not risk our cards. We can attach them after. You get a half a sheet of these 1/2 inch foam squares, which I'm really loving, I gotta say. And you get a few little accessories here. I'm loving these nail heads. I have these black little 1/4 inch nail heads. I love those. We're gonna be using some of those. We're also going to use some of the AB Hunky Dory rhinestones. So we have those. Let me think if I'm missing anything. I don't think I am. Other than that, I am missing something. Of course, I'm using my stamping platform. And I'm also I switched up, guys. My Pink Fresh Cube was just dry as a bone after using it as much as I have. So I switched up and I got the bigger Pink Fresh pad. We have these available in the store. These are perfect for your both alcohol inks and watercolors. So this is a really good one to use if you think you might apply water to what you're doing. Now I could just use my Midnight Black if I'm doing all pencils, but I never know when I might grab a paintbrush and smooth something out. So why risk picking up the black when I can just use a hybrid ink pad to begin with? Do we understand why the hybrid? Because if I'm using a dye pad, which is water-based, together with watercolors, then that black ink is going to gravitate when I add water to it. But this one will not. This is perfect. This one does the same for water-based as it does for alcohol markers. That's why it's called a hybrid. It won't bleed. So it's a dandy anytime you think you are going to apply colors and you're not sure whether or not you'll be adding moisture to it. And of course, I'm using my Hunky Dory colored pencils. You can use whatever you like. I mean, you can use colored pencils. You can use crayons if you wanted to. I actually had some artist grade crayons that are fun to use. You can use crayons. You can use woodless colored pencils. You can use your markers. You can use your alcohol pens. You can use whatever you like to color these. I just happen to like these. I am going to share with you, we're not just going to stamp today. I am going to share with you a couple of techniques I played with these. I told you in my little promo for this that one of the things that's really nice about this set is because these are silhouetted, some of the foreground elements are in silhouette. You don't have to do a lot of masking. We are going to do just a little bit of masking and a little bit of use of my ink pads, because you see this vibrant sky and the skyline and then the differences in color up there. I'm getting that with ink. And so I masked off my mountains and I used an ink pad. I also did a little bit of masking when I made this one with the boots. I masked that off and I used a very bright colored ink pad to represent my carpet or my tile on the floor, because I wanted a sharp contrast to my walls. So I masked that off and used an ink pad for that. So I did a little bit of masking because I couldn't help myself. You know what I'm missing here that I didn't show, guys? We still need, I didn't have a kit here available, and I was scurrying around pulling together all the supplies. I still need a piece of rainbow mirroring, please, because we're missing one of those.
And Roberta has joined.
Hello, Roberta. Welcome,
And
welcome.
Mary R says she wants the card.
Which
No,
card is
get
it
the
that you
card.
want? Which
Get the
card
card.
is it you want, Mary R? You want the boots or you want the hiker? I couldn't tell which card you want. Okay, so let's get started, shall we? We're going to get our stamping platform out here. I also, on these, I did play a little bit. I have to admit, I played a little bit with my,
Couldn't tell what
Thank
size
you.
needed. Sorry.
with my, what are they called? Gel press pad. And I created my background papers using the gel press. Now, we haven't done that yet, so we're going to use ink to come up with similar backgrounds. But I have stuff on order. It's going to take a little while because it's sold out at the manufacturers. But I have ordered the stuff to do some gel press, and man, are we going to have some fun with this. Have you done anything with gel press, Margie?
Mm-mm.
Oh my gosh. This right here is going to be your new obsession.
Oh dear.
Margie loves it when I come up with new obsessions, don't you, Margie? That's when she signs her paycheck and hands it back. It's fun. It's very, very, very fun. The only thing I don't know is we might have to send people full pads, because that's how much they're going to want to try all these different supplies. But we're going to do some with acrylics. We're going to do some with dye-based inks. We're going to do all kinds of fun stuff. We may even try the shaving cream technique on our gel pen. So we are going to just do we're going to have great fun with
Mary
our...
R is scolding you because you should know that it's the one with the dog on it.
Well, of
Penny
course.
Can't believe. You need to have
Good point, Mary. Good point. All right. So I'm going to get my stamps out here. I'm going to set my magazine aside for now because we know what we're doing. We don't have to look for inspiration. We have it in front of us. And I may keep this as kind of an inspiration piece. What I did with this was my first print off my gel press, and this one back here, that was my second print. So I got the lighter one by doing that. And then when I was doing my colored pencils, I kind of matched my pencils to my background. So I know this is just a backpack and boots, but of the cards I did, this is one of the ones I'm the most proud of. It was very fun to do. And I'm just so pleased with the way they turned out. So, okay. I'm a little hyper on most days, and I think today I'm a little more hyper than most. We have to decide what we're going to do here, which cards we're going to do, because we're not going to have time to do all of them. I think that what I need to do for sure, though, is show you the masking technique. Maybe we'll do this one. How's this one? We'll do this one, because I think this one's really cool with the...
other camera.
I love the directional sign. I want you to notice I put adventure and escape going one direction and love and home the other direction. Isn't that cool? I think that's cool. I don't know.
Very cool.
I'm easily entertained. So let's do the stamping. Let's see, how are we going to do that? I do want to do the ones where I did the masking techniques and show you for sure. And then I'll walk you through some of the rest of these because I did some fun stuff with the rest of these too. All right. Oh, hard to choose. Hard to choose what to do because I want to do them all. But I can't keep you till breakfast.
No, you can't.
But I'd like to keep you till breakfast.
I'll be leaving. I have to sleep somewhere between breakfast and dinner.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll be good then.
Roberta says that she'd also like the lake one, maybe.
The lake one? Is that this one?
Maybe.
That one's,
Blue one?
let's see. Oh, this one? You have to tell me which one. First or second, Roberta? And then I also have this one. I have too many beautiful samples, guys. I'm sorry. But I have great fun doing it. Does that count for something? It must count for something, right? Now I'm going to put my stamp. I'm going to start with, oh, it doesn't matter which one. I'm going to start with this one. And we're going to start with this one right here. Wanda says, why not? Is that why not work till breakfast?
Yeah.
Because my camera people are both going to leave me if I do that. And Brittany won't stay. Will you, Brittany?
No, I'll be long in bed by then.
Brittany's a real morning person. She is up before the chickens. So yeah, she's not gonna rescue me either.
Roberta said number 2.
Number 2, this one, I think. Okay. All right, we can do it. All right. So, okay, here is just the most obvious of all statements to make at this point with you guys who are stampers, but make sure the flat sides to you, because we've all done it where we forget. I'm going to use my neat Kathy girl stamper thingy. If you haven't seen that, she made that out of a candle lid. It's nice and heavy. She put felt on the bottom to make it slide over my platform, and she says it will be, and it is, easier on my fingers not to be doing CPR on my stamps. So, ink up with my hybrid stamp pad.
Betty Boswell says that her boss will not understand because she has to clock in at 6 a.m.
Her boss doesn't understand the necessity of a good stamping session. Imagine that.
Kathy Girl says it's the stamp rub tool. So
The
that's
stamp
the
rub tool.
official name.
Okay, we now have an official name. Thank you. Yeah, the ones that you sent, Kathy. I'm using this one. Margie uses the clear one. We're all happy. So there we go. Okay, so I'm going to take, where's my baby wipes? I'm going to take this one off for now. Probably would save me time if I just stamped that part of the image on everything I'm going to stamp it on. And then I wouldn't be cleaning and moving and putting it back. Let's do that. Shall we?
Common sense.
Oh, common sense isn't so common. I like it. And everything we can do to help keep our bodies supporting our crafting habits, we must do, right? Just look at that beautiful finish I get, though, because everything's nice and even. I'm not pushing harder in one place than another. I'm just going to put several of these down here. Let's see. We could need as many as we won't need 4, but I'll do 4 of them just because maybe we'll get really efficient and finish more cards.
Or you'll just want to do another one after we get.
Or we'll just do another one after we get off the air because I really like this set. I think this set is great fun. It really is. I told some of you that individually on the phone. I liked the Heartfelt Creations one, but there's something about this one that's just easier. And I'm not sure if it's because I am not masking everything, or it's just an inviting open scene, or exactly what it is that's doing it. But
How much
it's really
watercoloring
appealing.
did you do in this one comparatively? That might have been it too. 'Cause
Maybe.
It takes a long time to do.
Yeah, I didn't do
watercolors.
any. I did very little water. I added very little water to my. Only if I just needed to smooth out my pencil lines did I apply water. I think 3 of those a sample because we'll
Diane.
never get to all 4 of them.
Say hi, Diane.
Hi, Diane. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Hey, you guys, I am loving reading the surveys. You guys have some really brilliant ideas. And you guys think a lot alike. It seems like some of the comments that I'm getting are very consistent from survey to survey. Of course, there's going to be differences, but there's some real trends that are appearing that are going to help me a great deal. Let me reassure you that if we go on Facebook, I'm not dumping YouTube. That was one of the concerns is don't go there because if you go there, I won't watch you. No. If we go on YouTube, we would stream simultaneously on YouTube and on YouTube and Facebook together. So no worries, guys. It's all okay.
Say hi to Thelma.
Hi, Thelma. Welcome, friend. All right. Did you get into the survey, Thelma? I haven't seen yet. Hopefully, you told me last time you couldn't get in. Hopefully the link I put in the last newsletter is helping those of you who are having trouble. I think it wanted us, I don't know why it would do that, but I think it wanted us to cut and paste into the browser.
Says no.
You should be able to get in with the new link. If not, go to What's New Wednesday from yesterday. And I put a link to the survey at the bottom of What's New Wednesday also. I'm going to get you in there. Yes. Yeah, a lot of you said, I don't want anything to do with Facebook. No Facebook for me. And a lot of you expressed concern that if we went to Facebook, we would lose you. Nope, I'm not losing anybody. I just want to maybe expand our audience a little bit by picking up some of the Facebook crowd, and we can stream to both places at one time, as I understand it. If I have to choose, I'm going to choose YouTube. I want to show you what I'm doing. When I did this one, I wanted to represent that the backpack was further back and a little more against the wall. So I stamped it just slightly higher than the boots. Can you see that? Because the boots would need more room to stand in front of the wall. So I'm stamping this just ever so slightly higher, maybe 3/8 of an inch higher than the boots, just to allow some room. I put a little bit of space between them to do my shadowing. The shadows from these are not on the stamps. That's shadowing that I did with a pencil. Okay. So let's stamp our boots. And on this one, we'll go ahead and put the sentiment on it too. Old habits die hard. I have to remind myself to use my, what's it called again? My stamp rubber, my rubber stamp, no, that'd be a different thing, wouldn't it? That gadget. I love some of the sentiments in this set. I love this one. Life's about the journey, not the destination. I think that's really cool. Really, really cool.
My husband would totally agree with the fact that that would be my motto. Because I take him on all the fire roads.
My dad used to do that with us too. Then he was eternally lost. But he said, until you've been lost, you haven't seen the countryside. So we'd get lost all the time when we'd go out for a drive with Dad. But it was always fun. We never knew where we were going to come out. We'll stamp our journey on here. I'm going to decide how I'm going to do the background of this one if we do this one. The one thing I wanted to show you for sure on this one was masking that wall. Boy, I love this stamp platform. Just look at the beautiful, we just get crisp, really beautiful images. That's from having both good stamps and the stamp platform. And anybody who's wanting one of these stamp platforms, this is just going to be the best buy you can get for a platform in this price range. You can get a Misty for $69, $70, or you can get this one for $29 in our store. And it's really good. Okay, so we got that one done. Let's put some sentiments on these. This one's...
Ours says that wouldn't a puppy be cute in one of those boots if you were to tuck it under a Christmas tree?
It'd be gorgeous.
And Diane, the stamping pad is Pink Fresh. It's just the bigger stamping pad instead of the small rectangle.
Yep, we just have. I went to go get more of the cubes and they were out, so I bought the larger pad, and actually I really, really like the larger pad. So that was a happy occurrence that they turned out to be really cool. Yeah, these Pink Fresh pads are really nice. There's lots of brands of hybrid out there, but I appreciate how much ink they gave us on these. They don't celebrate inker at present, but I appreciate the fact that these are so well inked that the pad kind of wears out before the ink goes away. So, okay, so there's that one. There's that one. All right. I need one of these, and we will get our... Oh, this one does. Oh, this one just needs the hikers put in. This one doesn't have a... Let's see. Yeah, I think this is the one we will not make today because this one's fairly obvious. I just inked that. And then I'll tell you how I made it, and we'll put this one away. I inked this with using my light and darker blue stamp pads. And then I sprayed the heck out of it with this Airless Mister in the pearlescent. And I don't know if you guys can pick up on camera how pearly and shiny this is, but it's glorious over the simple stamped image. And I just sprayed it, and because it was adding quite a bit of liquid to the blue, it really softened my edges and made it really pretty around the edges, where even where the glue ran, or the blue, not the glue, the blue ran a little bit. I loved the effect. So I was using the Cosmic Shimmer Airless Mister in the pearlescent, and I love the way this turned out. Then I just cut it down. I mounted it on some mirror board, mounted that on some black paper. I love the accent of the black paper on these cards with the black stamping. And that one was done. Then I added my 3 AB rhinestones or gems from Hunky Dory to each corner, the upper and lower corners only, one side.
Diane wants to know if it rubs off.
No, not at all. It just becomes part of the finish. I don't get any pearlescence at all on my fingers when I do that. No, I was just looking to see if there really was any at all. There's none. So it's pretty. Okay. Let's get our hiker and our dog put in here. So I'm going to put him right about here. Now I have to kind of end my lake, and I'll show you what I did when I was coloring to end the lake there. And then I want to keep my guy kind of towards the middle of my card because I need to have room for my sign. So I'm going to keep my guy back just a little. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a tree in. I know we usually do the foreground first, and this doesn't do away with that rule that you do the foreground first. However, these are silhouette stamps. And because it's solid, you're not going to see the lines through it at all. And you can actually just stamp right over the top. So that's kind of cool. I'm going to bring these guys down. I'll maybe back just a little. So I put, can you guys see? I put, well, let me just stamp it first and then I'll show you. I put the, maybe you could just come in a little bit, Margie. Can we come in and just stay in? That would be good. There we go. So, yeah, there we go. So I've got my hiker in the front, the dog just before him, and then I've got the tree sitting up just a little bit. And see all this stuff we have going on here? We might as well cover that up since this is no longer going to be water. That's going to be part of our tree. I just covered the bottom of that. So we'll pick those stamps up. Roberta's asking for the link, I think, to the pearlescent spray.
Yes, yeah, Diane had asked for it. We'll
Okay.
add it into the newsletter, correct?
Okay, we can do that.
Or you want the
Or
link
you can just go out and get
right
the
now?
link if you feel comfortable doing that. If you don't feel comfortable, I'll put it in the newsletter.
I can give it a shot.
This will be new experience for Margie to link something from here. So we'll see how this goes. It's okay, Margie.
Pressure.
Airless Mister, just put in airless, and that's the only thing that will come up there. You can choose any one of them, and then it will take you to that page. Come down here to the Spritz and Mist, Airless Mister. Oh, okay, you got it. Never mind. I'm going over my dog and my hiker one more time because it looked like I had some lines, but what part of what I was perceiving as lines were actually lines in his backpack that are supposed to be there. So that's cool. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and put my, greeting underneath there. I like that. Not all who wander are lost. That's cool. Now that would be the saying for you, Ms. Margie. Not all who wander are lost. Out there running around in the fire trails.
So it's a joke because we were going to take this road that I thought would cut off a section of the triangle to Crater Lake because we lived in Walla and we were going down Crater Lake.
That's
And
right.
it showed an L.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, crow flies, there's a road that literally cuts out that triangle. We will get there so much faster. Yeah, it was a fire road. And we drove it in our Ford Taurus. Our Ford Taurus took us everywhere. We had just gotten married, and he'd already been with me for long enough to know that I do crazy things like this. And so, but he was meeting a good portion of my family for the first time at this Crater Lake little camp out that we were having. And so from there, he makes the joke on a regular basis. We're taking the fire road. It's your favorite way to go.
Okay.
So there you go. There's the story that goes behind it.
All right. So we have this one ready to go, and that's positioning out really nicely. See? Oops. Come on. There we go. Oops. Go this way.
There you go.
Okay. Time to make Debbie go away so we can see. There we go.
I'm guessing which one it is.
See how they're laying out really nicely there on a 6x6, and then we'll just trim down the sides we don't need. Okay, so we got that one. We need to stamp our, let's see. We need our hiker and our dog on this one. So before we put these away this time, I brought this tree clear up here. And I brought the dog. I know it's going to look funny. It's going to look like we have him in the water, but we don't, because we're not making that water this time. It is what we tell it to be, and we're going to tell it that's land. That's a path. So we're going to put our dog and our hiker and our tree right in there in what might look to be the water, but it's not going to be water this time. Okay. I'm thinking I might move them up just a tad, because this is the one where we're making it really narrow. So I'm moving them up just a little. Let's go ahead. I hope it's not confusing doing all the stamping at once. Is it too confusing when we're doing this, guys? I hope not. It just makes sense not to wash these, put them away, get them back out. So I think I want that to be maybe just a little bit darker. It's pretty dark already, but I want it to be really saturated with color there. There we go. If I could find my camera.
Scooch back a little bit because I've got you zoomed in, and then that way. There you go.
Whew. So we're only taking a small amount of that total picture, right? Okay, good, excellent. All right.
It does not seem to be confusing. Wanda says no. Donna says no. It saves time.
Okay,
Roberta says
excellent.
Not at all, Debbie.
Excellent. Okay. Now I've got a couple things that are stamped separately. I've got this that's stamped separately, and back on my one with the sign, this is stamped separately. So let's go ahead and get those on a piece of card also. As soon as I figure out what I did with it, there it is. Well, to have this few supplies out and still lose things it takes cleverness to do that. I just want you to know. It takes a little cleverness to lose things when you have so little on the table. I lost a magnet somewhere. It was here a minute ago. It's on the back.
Sorry, I just
I don't know even how I got it on the back, but I got it on the back. Okay, so I'm going to stamp my sign. I'm going to take off my tree, my hiker, and my dog. And I'm going to stamp my sign. And I'm going to stamp my Life's a Climb. It's here, really. Life's a Climb. There it is. No, that's not it. No, it's just little looking. It looks big when it's actually stamped and mounted. It's just little. Life's a Climb. Okay. Put those on. Could you grab me a set of, I know I have Post-its in here, but I'm sure they're buried. Can you grab me a set of sticky all over Post-its, please? Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Brittany.
Thank you, Brittany. All righty. Here we go. Just in case of any potential mess ups when I go to place my words on, I'm going to do a second one of my sign in case you were wondering why I was using all that space in the middle. That's why I was doing it. Okay. Now let's stamp our words right onto our sign. I'm going to pull this off. I'm going to pull this off. I'll clean them all later. And let's get our little words out. They give us all sorts of little words. But I did like, journey's good too. I did like, happiness, love, home. I do like the home and love. I really do like that.
Make sure the home and love are on the same,
Yes.
pointing in the same direction.
Yes, that would be good, wouldn't it? Home.
Yes, it would.
And love. I also have home and happiness. Let's just do that. Let's put happiness this time. Why not? Home and happiness. And even this longer happiness word is made to fit the sign, which is pretty cool. And then let's put we have escape and adventure. Let's make it journey and adventure on our sign. Hopefully I got everything right side up. Just noticed my journey was wrong side up, so I better check that. Home is right side up. And it's important to get them inside the lines because it's going to look kind of hokey if our words go outside of the lines. Happiness. And this is going to be my adventure. Journey and adventure this way, home and happiness that way. Perfect. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, I think we're ready to start coloring and assembling. The only other thing we have to do, and we could go ahead and do that if we wanted to. Let's go ahead and do that. It's the only other stamping job we've got, I think, is let's do our footprints around our card. And to do that, let's see which card size I used here. I think it was the bigger one. Yeah. I used the US A6 to do this one. And I just put my card down. And I got my footprint stamp out. And I just started going around the edge. Nothing really scientific about what I did here. Keep your footprints as far to the outside as you can to allow room for your image. So I'm only set in maybe 1/8 of an inch from the edge of my card. Put some magnets down. And the footprints actually have a tendency to be just a little bit dark, so I wouldn't press hard when you do these.
Is it because they're so condensed?
Yeah, I think so. They have all the little tread marks on the boots. And if you don't get a strong enough stamp, the good news is all you got to do is come back in with your ink pad and stamp into the same place again, right? But I'm not pushing hard. I'm not even rubbing it down. See that? Now, when you get to the edges, we're only going to ink up certain parts of the footprint. We'll clean it, and then we'll only ink up the parts we actually want to turn the corner and not have it run off the edge. I could just run off the edge, but I don't know. I kind of like having it nice and uniform.
Sorry.
So that's
Let
okay.
me fix that. I figured since we're not quite as close right now, I might
So
like to see your face.
I'm going to decide which parts I want to use, and it looks to me like I only want, can you come in close again? I only want these two end footprints because I don't want it to run off the edge. So I'm going to still go ahead and pick it up with my platform, and then I'm only going to put my ink. I have to get my head in here, see what I'm doing. I'm only going to put my ink on the last two in the row, and that way I can get just the part of the footprint I want. Now we're going to turn the corner and head up. I think I can still squeeze another one in there at the side. I may wish I didn't do that, but I'm going to do it. And now I'm going to stamp all of them. So you can use just part of your stamp. The airless misters are actually pretty darn easy to use, guys. They really are. You just use it like a spritzer, but it doesn't clog. That's the thing that I like. Remember, I cleared all those Nouveau ones. I think I still have a couple out there, but I cleared the Nouveau ones because I didn't like the fact that they would clog up. These airless misters don't clog. Or if they do, I haven't seen it yet. And it didn't take long to see it with the Nouveau. Okay, I'm going to put this on here and see which footprints I want to use again. I think once again it's going to be just the last two. in the row. Whoop. Might have to move this out of the corner a little bit because it didn't want to go over that edge. Okay, so I'm only going to ink the last two. Once again, I'm just going to come in here with my pad, and I'm just going to hit those two. If I get any more than those two, I'll just take my baby wipe and wipe it off. I didn't notice there being any odor to these. Now, I have to preface that with, I have to say with that I don't have a very strong sense of smell. I mean, I'm not real sensitive to smells most of the time because I used to make soap, lots and lots of soap, hundreds of bars a year, and the smell, I think that the perfumes from the soap kind of influenced my nose. So I can't say with all certainty there's no odor, but I haven't noticed one. Even doing these little footprints is kind of fun, guys. I have to admit it. It's kind of fun. I haven't noticed, I haven't looked to tell you the truth, how many people got this kit. I really recommend this kit. This is really a fun set. You can just do different things with it than we do with some of the others. It's very, very versatile. And it has some wonderful stamps. I didn't even use it has a wonderful canoe. It's got a wood round that would be great for a sign. It's got camera. It's got the little bug. It's got just all kinds of fun images on it. These creative stamping magazines tend to be just such a good deal. How many of you got this kit? I see Betty. 3 of you said you've gotten this one. Well, some of the rest of you might want to take another look at this one because it really is fun. It's a good one. And I know sometimes you just like to see it used before you decide, but I'm giving a high endorsement to this kit. I really, really like it. And for the money, I think it's a terrific buy. You are going to get so much use for your guy cards out of this. Although the very first card that I'm giving out of this set is to a friend of mine who likes to hike, a woman who likes to hike with a dog. So it doesn't have, I put my footprint going the wrong way. I think I can still fix it. I'm going to go right over the top of it. I want my footprints going all the same direction. But I think we captured it in time. Put a little ink on there. This is the only place I'm going to have just a little bit of stamp overs on this corner, but I'm going to let it stamp over just a little, mostly in the interest of time, but it isn't going to hurt to have just a little bit of overstamping on just this last footprint. There we go. There's our footprint, all ready to frame our image.
Well,
The
not
autofocus
liking
is
that,
trying to focus in on something that was just too close. Okay, there we go. So I think we have our stamping done. Let's get to our coloring and assembling. I may be wrong. There may be something else we have to stamp, but
Mary R says that she has a paw print stamp and that she could mix it up and
yeah. Oh,
It
yeah.
looks
That'd be
really
really
tempting to
cute,
you.
wouldn't it?
that you are really tempting her. There we go. Quoted it wrong there for a second.
Okay, so we got this one. All right. We're already kind of partway through with this one. Do you guys want to go ahead and finish this one? Let's go ahead and do this one. Now, I am going to need a mask. So now that I put that away, let's make a mask. Darn it. And I should have, now if I'd have been smart, while I had my boots on and my backpack on, I would have stamped my mask. I didn't do that. So now if I decide to show you the mask for that one, which you're going to do the same way, guys. You're going to do exactly the same thing. But if we decide to do that one, I'm going to have to line those back up. Because I was silly. I should have just done my masks for those ones that I wanted to mask right when I was stamping it. But, you know, what do we got besides time? Okay. Get my mountains out here. The interesting thing that we're doing here is that we're actually masking the bottom of the mountains so that we can color the mountains over the top. That's what we're doing. Just got to get them on here straight. Okay. So I just need a mask that's enough to mask off this edge so that I'm not getting my ink all over the place. And it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be quick. That's good enough. Clean that off again. Because that will be a big mess on me because it's such a big stamp and I will no doubt throw something on it. Okay, I'm going to take this off. I'm going to cut my mask, but it's just going to be very quick. Oh, I think I can work around that. I was looking at this and thinking I should have put that tree back in, but I think since that tree is dark already, the tip of that tree that we stamped in, I think we can go right over that with our ink and we'll be okay. So I'm not going to worry about that. I do want my mountains to have a nice crisp edge to them with my inking line. Now, I'll tell you, we cut off the majority of that tree on the side. So I don't have to do a lot of really fussy cutting around that tree because most of that tree isn't there. I only have to catch just this one edge of the tree. And even that just needs a little border put on it, over it. There we go. So let's see how this fits. That's going to be good. There. Now let's get this one cut. And the part I care about the most in this mask here is just this. I don't have to worry about the edge piece because the edge goes clear to the top of the card. So I just only need this much. I'm going to reposition that just a tad because this side's not matching quite as well. I'm going to put this one down first. What I want to see is just the edge of my stamp line when I put my mask on. Otherwise, you'll end up with a little halo around your mountains. So let yourself see the edge of your stamped line. There we go. There we go. Okay, let's get our stamp. Let's get our ink pad out. And the one I want to use for this, I believe it's the nautical blue that I used, but I also used some of this lighter one. And let's see.
Catherine says hello.
Hi, Catherine. Welcome, friend. I love the fact that our European customers also have chimed in on the survey. And one of the things they're asking for is, as well as a lot of you, is a little earlier consistent start time on Saturdays. And I think we're going to do that. I think we're just going to, I'll give you more results of the survey and what we're doing as a result of what you said later. But one of the things that we are going to do is, I think, move that Saturday session to 2 o'clock all the time. Because you guys have said that that would be helpful. So we'll do it. Let's see, I need to check my colors here. And make sure I'm getting the right colors and I like what I'm getting. Okay. I'm going to ink across. Oh, that's a dirty looking nail. What I got to do. Well, I just realized it. I have to take care of it. That was nasty looking. Okay, I'm going to put a little lighter ink right along the top. And now I'm going to use this nautical blue. And I am going to pounce it off once because I don't want a blue circle there. And then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to start using my dauber sponge, and I'm just going to kind of circle it on there. Okay. And it's going to be a little lighter and darker in places, which is beautiful. We want that. And as we go to the top, and I know there's not a lot of sky here, there's not a lot of extra room, but as we go up on our skyline, we're going to get lighter and lighter, which is funny because when we did our sunsets, we went darker and darker as we went out. This one, I want you to go lighter and lighter. In this one, the skyline is not on the side with the sun. So it's going to get lighter and lighter as you move away from the mountains. There's our sky. I think I'm going to bring in just a little bit more after I looked at my sample. I'll bring a little bit more in. But I want it darker right over the mountains. Okay, let's see what this looks like when we peel this mask off. Look at this sharp, crisp, beautiful skyline we just got, guys. Isn't that pretty? Doesn't that look nice? Okay, we'll keep our mask because that's not the only one we want to do that way.
It's very striking.
It is. I love the way it looks. Okay, now on this one, I can, if I want to, I could ink my mountains. In fact, I did on this one. I inked them kind of light blue. I could take my tool and I can take my dauber. And because I'm penciling over this, colored penciling over this, I actually don't have to, is that the one I want? I think I want this periwinkle. Yeah, I think this is the one I want. That's a little light there. I think this periwinkle. Yeah, I'm going to come in and I'm just going to kind of smooth a little bit of color. Now I'm going to color over parts of this with my colored pencils, but if I keep this light, I can go right over the top of this. So this becomes a really fast method of laying color down on my mountains because I can go right over the top with my pencil lines. And I don't want a lot of color, you know, where I was really into the purples in the last set. I'm more into making them white here. But that hint of blue is really nice. So I'm just adding just a touch of color there. Now, let's get our pencils out. We need to add some green in our trees, some brown in our ground, and believe it or not, that's about all we're going to do because it just doesn't need a lot. We do have to be careful to say this is ground he's walking on and not a riverbed. So I get my surgical kit out here. All right. So one thing I can do to help myself would be to go ahead and cut this down a bit. I know that the amount of space I have is, or I will know it. Here's one. I have 47 rulers and they're all buried. Okay, I have 3 1/4 inches basically that I can put this into by 5. So I'm basically working on a 3 by 5. And I'm going to go ahead and cut this down so I see what I need to color and I don't spend a lot of time coloring things that aren't going to show. Let me get my paper cutter out here. And I already know I want to cut off part of this tree. I'm going to go right to the edge of where we stamped in. I like the other side better in this particular picture. So I want this to be 5 inches wide. I'm going to hold that up against my card and say, how's that doing? Now it's actually going to have to be a little narrower yet because I matted that. So let's come in a little bit more and take a little bit more off of this edge. And I'm going to take a little more off of this edge. So I'm going to cut this to 4 3/4 wide. There we go. I like that. And it's got to get to 3 inches tall, which is a little bit challenging, but let's see how far down do I get to go to make that 3 inches, because I had 3 1/4 inches, remember? Now, I did stamp my guy a little lower this time. So I need to allow some room for him to walk, which means I'm going to have to take a little bit of my pretty sky off, darn me. But that's okay. It's still pretty. There we go. We're ready to map that after I get the color on it. Let's get some color going here. Now I have a sample card for my colors. That's a nice green, but a little bluish. I think this is the one I used before. And this is certainly is the one I used before because I sharpened it with a knife. Don't tell Thelma. I'm abusing my pencils.
Stephanie has to head out.
Stephanie, thanks for stopping by.
And Diane put in her retirement letter.
Oh, Diane, good for you.
22 years in middle school.
Congratulations on your retirement. That's exciting.
She's focusing her attention on family and grandbabies now that she's vaccinated.
All right. Okay. It's going to look weird. You're going to say, how am I supposed to color these trees that are mostly black? All we're doing is kind of filling in the branches a little bit, guys.
And Catherine is going to be heading out as well.
Let's get it back where you can see it. All I'm doing is adding some color right around it and right on top of these branches that have little gaps in the branches. I'm just coloring over that. And I'm going to come back in with a brown and actually fill in a little bit on the trunk because that's going to look good. Because they really don't have black trunks. They have brown trunks. So this is really easy coloring to do this one.
Thelma says no to your baby pencils.
No to my sharpening with a knife. I knew I'd get in trouble for that one. I need to get a good pencil sharpener. I have one somewhere. I've lost it. Story of my life. I have this really good thing somewhere. And then once I replace it, I'll find the first one, and then I'll have many pencil sharpeners because that too is the story of my life. Oh, that's a good brown.
Betty Gosel says, yesterday I got to see the cover of my latest book. She's so excited.
Oh. Is it cool? It must be cool. Because I can't imagine accepting anything other than cool. All right.
Is ready to recommend a pencil sharpener for you.
I actually just ordered one from, who did I order it from? It was one of the good companies. Was it Primacolor? But if you have a recommendation for what is going to be better.
A good one, she said.
What's that?
Prisma is a good one.
Okay, I did order a Prismacolor one. I just wanted one that wasn't going to tear up the ends of my pencils and break the points, and cheap ones will do that. And when Thelma was talking last time we were talking about these, we were talking about the not wanting electric. You really don't want an electric pencil sharpener. You might think you do, but all of electric's going to do is eat up your expensive pencils, and it is not going to take the care of things that you want. You're actually better off hand sharpening. And then I've read that you hold your sharpener in your right hand. If you're right-handed, you hold your sharpener in your right-handed and you turn with your left, which will keep you from overbearing and breaking your points off. So you flip it, whichever way you normally would be.
And if you're ambidextrous at those kind of things, then what do you do?
Back up 3 yards and punt. I don't know. I've never been ambidextrous. I'm so dominantly right-handed. It's pathetic.
I think that people that are left-handed have to kind of become ambidextrous because, you know,
Darker green.
they didn't used to make left-handed scissors, and they didn't. And hitting a hammer the right way, you'll be off if you try hitting with your left hand versus your right. I don't know. Anyways,
I'm adding some
Emily Girl
darker.
says she uses the Faber-Castell dual sharpener.
Faber-Castell should be pretty good too, I would think. The ones I used to have here were Spectrum Noirs, and I really liked those. Those were good. Okay, so I need to add. I'm going to bring in some browns for their round.
So to back up on conversations, it looks like there are a couple of teachers in the group and teachers' assistants for special ed or family members that are. And Betty said that her new book is a medical murder mystery. Say that
Ooh.
5 times fast.
Ooh, medical murder mystery.
Mm-hmm.
I can do that.
That's giving my husband a bad name. And Betty also says that she's a lefty and pretty ambidextrous. So it might be something to do with my mom cannot open a can opener very easily. She has to find special ones because she can't even open a jar if it's a right-handed can
because
opener.
she's dominantly left, huh?
Dominantly left-handed.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm doing is just adding some color to our backgrounds here, guys. Just kind of filling in a little bit of background color. This is not going to matter an awful lot to our finished design. Just putting down some color so it looks finished. Okay, this piece here is 4 3/4 by 3. So I want to cut a piece of my black paper.
Elma says that if you keep your pencils sharper, then you won't need to go. Keep your pencils sharper so they are ready to go when you want to use them.
I'm going to cut this piece of paper to be 3. Oh, I thought I snuck something off. Don't know what it was. That's all right, Margie. Don't worry about it. Okay. So my card, my little piece of paper here was 3 by 5, and my space is 3 1/4 by 5, and let's see, I forget, 4 3/4 by 3. So I cut this to 5 by 3, and I cut it a little bit short of 1/4. So I'm going to trim it just a little bit more to compensate for cutting my black just a little short. Make sure I have enough of a border on that bottom, and I have extra on the bottom anyway from the. There we go. Let's see how that looks now. That looks good. That looks great, actually. Let's go ahead and put this on. This is really easy coloring on this one, guys. If you're somebody who doesn't like to do a lot of coloring, being able to ink the sky and ink the mountains makes it really fast. And then all you're doing is adding a little color to the trees and the ground. And it turns out really, really nice. Isn't that sweet? It's just you saw, it's not taking a lot of time to put those down like we have on, on the more detailed images we were doing in our last set. I'm going to use some of these 1/2-inch foam squares to kind of prop this up a bit. I'm going to try and give you, or I think we gave you 1/2-inch squares in this kit. And it will give you a chance to try these bigger ones. Most of the things in this will easily be accommodated by the 1/2-inch squares. The only exception is going to be that the only exception will be on our signpost, where you'll have to cut them in half. That's no big deal. Okay, now let's do our life's climb. And do you want to cut out this signpost for me, Margie?
Yeah.
That would be one thing they don't have to sit and watch me do. Thank you. Uh-oh.
The one with the words.
Darn it. I just cut that down too far. I'm going to restamp it. Yeah, the one with the words, please. What do I do for the platform? I cut that kind of weirdly, so I'm going to just put that stamp back on here and make myself a better sign, because we're not going to go to all this work and then use a sloppy sentiment. Okay. There we go. That's much better. All right. I'm going to trim this down, and I'm going to do a better job because I'll be paying more attention to what I do than what I did last time. I just cut it off way too short last time. And that is good there. Uh-oh. Now I'm going to mount that on that little square of black I had left over. And trim around that. That's an easy trim. Hey, Mary, I think the secret to having me not injure myself was having you give me purple Band-Aids, because I haven't had to use one since you gave me the Band-Aids. It's probably because I want to keep them. But I haven't injured myself. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
I almost knocked on wood with the scissors in my hand. I would have needed a Band-Aid had I done that. Okay, now I'm going to put this up in this corner, but when I do that, I want to leave a bit of my footprint showing, and I want to leave a little border from the, well, actually, I don't care if my footprint shows, but I do care about having that nice and even where I have border on both sides of it. And since this is already up on foam squares, I need to do one of two things. I can put this on 2 foam squares so it's higher, or I can just let this rest on that area, on the first foamed up area, and I can cut my squares so it's just supported there. That's what I'm going to do. I'll show you what I mean. I still think it's so clever you found purple Band-Aids, though. Blue and purple Band-Aids. What more could you ask for in life, really?
Glitter one.
Glitter ones? Margie wants glittered Band-Aids.
No, I
Anybody
don't.
sees glittered
No, I don't.
Band-Aids, Margie wants a glitter Band-Aid.
You know why? The glitter will end up on the other side.
Okay.
I was being a smarty.
All right. Okay. So I'm going to put this over here. See, I only put my foam squares at the top of it. And I'm just going to let the bottom of it rest on the other area that's already popped up with foam squares. I'm going to put that on there. And we have created something of beauty, guys. There we go. Here's our hiker card. How are we doing for time, Margie?
I can't see. I'm cutting.
Okay.
Hang on.
I've got a phone in my. No, I don't have a phone in my pocket.
I
Oh,
can do it quick. 5:30.
5:30. Okay. So we got a little bit of time left. We have to want to try and finish, but we'll start with this one with our sign that you're cutting out. And our coloring is going to be much the same on this one, but there is a little difference. We are going to need to create a shoreline around what's currently, now what did I do with my masks? This is my mask. This is my mask. What did I do with the other one? I'm going to ink that up the same way because I really like that inking technique. Oh, nope, that's the cutoff part of my mask. Let's try this. I did save them. Thank you, Margie. I'm going to put my mask on my mountains, and we're going to ink our mountain, our skyline there. Make sure that you let this line show so you don't have a halo around your mountain. If your mask is too far away from the edge of the mountain or covers up too much of the line, you'll end up with a little halo. So let's put that down. Let's get our blue sponge. We're going to put in some of our, I did like this light one for the, I did like this lighter one for the top of my sky. Clean that off a little bit. The lighter one, what I'm calling the lighter one, is my Arctic mist. And I'm just going to put that in along the top here. Getting a little of what?
They're off on the side. Mary R wants Snoopy Band-Aids.
What's what?
Snoopy Band-Aids.
Snoopy.
That's a good request. And Roberta says, I know a little girl who would flip over glitter Band-Aids. And she tells Mary R that we need to find some. Me and my big mouth.
When my kids were little, we had a rule: if there's blood, there's a Band-Aid, because it kind of went through the, I need a Band-Aid for this, and I need a Band-Aid for that, and I need a Band-Aid for something else. So that became our rule: if there's blood, there's a Band-Aid. Show me the blood.
Show me the blood.
Show me the blood.
Yep.
Then you get a Band-Aid.
How I did that with the kids. What I've done with my granddaughter, because they now have a dollar store, is I give her a whole bunch of dollar store Band-Aids. And she can do what she wants with them, so long as they either go on a finger or on a piece of paper. And I don't have her asking for Band-Aids all the time.
Yeah.
Kind of gets rid of the specialness of it.
Yeah, my specialties as a mom where there's blood, there's a Band-Aid, and then if there was blood, then we needed mom's magic lotion, which was Neosporin. But you better go get mom's magic lotion. We'll make it feel better with mom's magic lotion. Neosporin, aka mom's magic lotion.
That's a good one to have.
Yeah, this looks really modeled in my sky right now, but somehow I think that's going to look really cool. Let's take that off and see what we think. Isn't that neat? I love that. I love that technique. So there we go. Another way of doing it. All right. This one I left completely white. See that? White mountains. The birds up here. We ended up with birds because I got a black ink mark on the top of my card. So I turned them into birds. Because that's what you do, you know? That's what you do. All right. Let's get some green in these trees. I'm going to try using, what do I think of this one? That's, oh, this must be a good one. At the end of my pencil. Yeah, I need that pencil sharpener. Hopefully it comes in the next day or two. This would be a shame to have to sharpen this with a knife in front of Thelma on a video.
She might have to
She
come
would
visit.
get me. He'd say, "What are you doing, woman? What in the world are you doing? Don't you know better than that? It's terrible for your pencils and bad for your health. You keep doing that, you'll need Mary's Band-Aids." All I'm doing, guys, is just putting down a little color behind these trees. I mean, I'm not even particularly being careful. I'm just laying color over the top of them because they're far away and they need a little green, but they don't need to be pampered. And if I want to, I can put in, I could use my water brush if I wanted to smooth them out a little bit extra. But I'm not worrying about that right now. I'm just getting some color on there. Okay, all right. All right, now I've got my those background trees done. I need to give these guys a little color. I do like this darker green color for this, I have to say. I don't worry about putting any color on my silhouetted tree in the foreground. I just let it be black. The kind of inference there is that it is closer to me and a little bit shadowed. Now I do have water here, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in my shoreline, and I'm going to define where my banks are going to be. I'm going to do that with brown, and I'm going to pull some brown back in here, and I'm going to come around to all these areas where there's going to be water. And then I have to kind of decide where my shoreline's going to go, because I can't have my guy walking on water. So I have him walking right along the bank. And I'm going to put my shoreline in. I'm going to bring it up this side of my tree, because my tree's not going to be in the water either.
So in this particular case, we're definitely not going for a swamp.
Not a swamp, no. We don't want a swamp. We want a beautiful. Okay, so the first thing I did was just define where my bank's going to be. Next, we're going to get some blue and put down for our water. And I want a fairly light blue, but one that I can darken up a little bit. So I'm going to come all around the edges of my bank with this blue, right around the edges. And I'm going to come all the way around my bank with a bit of blue. And then I'm going to come into some of these areas and I'm going to darken that up a bit. It looks good if you have some variation in the color of your water. And you'll actually want to put maybe just a few streaks out here in the center. After all, it's going to be reflecting a bit of the sky, and our sky's pretty dark in this. Don't be afraid to get some areas that are a little darker and lighter, though. I do like to make it just a little bit more so right around the edge. Now I'm going to come into that area in the back where my trees are, and I'm going to put some reflection in the water just by putting little bits of matching green in the water, as if those are just kind of reflecting off the water. You'll see some little squiggle lines there. That's part of what we're using. In some ways, I put them in even where they didn't, because I think it looks nice to have the trees reflected a little bit. So there we go. We got some water. Now we're going to need to kind of fill some space here. Oh, I put a tree on this one that I didn't put on this. Let's put it in because I think it looked good there. Let's just grab that tree. And I put it right about there. I like that tree in there. So let's put that tree back in there. Make sure you have your tree on the ground. Not coming up out of the water. Let's put it on the ground. Going to end up probably cutting a little bit of my tree off, but that's okay. Next thing I'm going to do, I think, is go ahead and trim this down so I make sure I'm not spending a lot of time coloring things that I'm going to cut off anyway. Oh, I like that tree there. That really looks good. Put that extra tree in there. Okay, I love these trees in this set, by the way. I really like them. Okay, next, let's trim this. Our card for this one is I believe it's a European A6, but let's look. Stop dropping things on the floor. 4 1/4 by 5 7/8, which makes that a European A6. I did not cover my card this time. I really liked all of my stamped areas and I wanted as much as possible to show, so I did not cover my card. But I am going to have to get this down to, actually, maybe if I'm going to do this, just cover it and cut it off. We could do that. Why not? Let's do that. Let's just position it on there and cut it off. A tape. That's a clever scam, Mary R. She's talking about Amazon. Phone scam that's going on right now where people call you and say that it's possible that your account is compromised. They want to help you remove your old payment information and add a new one. And of course, as soon as you're giving them that information, your card is as well as used.
They called my parents' house.
Did they call your parents' house,
Yeah,
Brittany?
they said a $700 charge had been placed, and they wanted to help them update their insurance. And my mom called me and was like, "You didn't do it," and she's like, "No." And she said, "Okay, it's a scam."
Good. Can't know if you could hear Brittany. They called her mom, but their mom told them, "No, I'll take care of it myself." Which is the way whenever you have a question to best handle it, is just don't let them convince you you need to do anything spur of the moment when somebody's calling you. They'll try and create a real sense of urgency. That's one of the ways you know that they're bad guys, because if they were on the up and up, they would completely understand your hesitancy and support you not doing it on them at the moment. You know, that's one way you can know. There we go. Now we know how much we need to color. Okay. Now, I'm going to get some green out here. And I'm going to come in around that's some fairly dark green, I think. Not really dark one, though. A fairly dark green, especially around the water's edge. And that's a good color. So I'm going to come in here.
Mary R says this is an awesome card.
Thank you, Mary R. I'm going to come in pretty dark right along the edge of my bank and help support that division. I really am loving this set. I just got to say, it's fun. It's really fun. And I like that the coloring is easy. You know, coming off of a set that we did, like the Heartfelt Creations, which I really enjoyed doing, by the way. Don't hear me say I didn't love that. I did love that. I thought it was great fun. But it was labor intensive. And picking up one that's so much less labor intensive is really, really nice, because you get satisfying results pretty quickly. Okay, let's put some heavier lines right along the edge of our pond here. Those heavier lines again just to create some definition. And then as well cover up some of those areas under my tree. Okay, now I'm just going to go lighter. I'm going to take a much lighter hand at it. And I'm just going to do some fill. If you got a good pencil, you should be able to fill without a lot of distinct lines. You should just be able to kind of softly lay down the color. You'll still see the direction I was coloring, but you're not going to see 50,000 coloring lines if I softly lay down my pencil. And I have to decide how far I want to go down to my words. I decided not to color under my words. I wanted my words to really stand out. So I didn't do anything fancy in making that determination. I just kind of decided where my line was. And then I went over and around it. Mary R. said what?
That she said that that's the reason why she didn't get the heartfelt creation set. It was a little bit more time consuming than she wanted, but this one is really nice.
Yeah. And it's got a dog. It's not a teddy dog, but it is a dog. It's a nice dog, nice lab. So if I decide that I have a little bit more, streaky color lines, wait, I really, really need that sharpener. If I decide I have a little more streaky line than I want in my coloring, like, these are watercolor pencils. I can come in with my water brush and soften up those lines a little bit. We're almost done with this card, guys. My pencil is running out of available pigment. I think I will take my water brush and just lightly touch that. Just a little bit. See what I was using last.
Kathy Girl has a question. Do you ever use Gamsol with your pencils?
Do I ever use what?
Gamsol. Gamsol.
Oh, Gamsol. I don't have to with my watercolor pencils, Kathy. And I use my watercolor pencils most of the time, although Gamsol is a great product for blending your regular pencils. You don't need it for watercolor. So I don't, because I use my watercolor pencils most of the time. But Gamsol is a great blending product. It's like an oil that you use when you are blending your colored pencils, your regular colored pencils. And maybe somebody who has more experience with that than me wants to comment further on Gamsol. Does anybody want to chip in and add some words of wisdom there on Gamsol? Did I describe it correctly? Oh, sign.
It's right. It was right.
There. Margie got us a sign. Okay. Let's see what color I'm coloring with. That's dark. I think I want the lighter one. That's really light.
Kathy said that she has regular pencils, and Roberta said that you explained.
I'm just going to use this brown and go really light on my sign. I don't want to disguise my writing on my sign, so I want to keep my coloring on my sign really light. How about you, Thelma? When you guys were teaching art, did you have the kids use Gamasol, or is that more of an adult product? I think I've told you before, Thelma was a teacher of art teachers.
For 33 years, she said. Oh, very good.
And she knows just about everything there is to know about teaching children and adults, actually, since she actually taught the adults to teach the kids. It's a real resource. I'm coming in just a little bit to kind of reinforce this wood look with some lighter and darker areas by hitting it with my...
Roberta said use it with Q-tips or blending nubs. Thelma says no, adult, you have to be very careful.
Adult only. Yeah, okay.
And then Kathy Girl says that this is her favorite scene.
Will you cut out the other sign for me, please? I'm going to
Do
layer.
not like.
No, I'm going to layer them. And I forgot I did that on this one. I actually stamped this twice, and then I layered it to make my signpost really firm. You don't have to do that, but since I have an assistant here who's loving to cut things out for me, while we wait on that one.
Great, now you're waiting on me too.
No. Roberta wanted to do this one. Roberta, the coloring on this one is virtually the same as what we just did. We will mask the top of our mountains and hit them with those inks. Isn't that just pretty? I love the sky technique. And which scene is your favorite, Kathy Girl? I do like the fact that this one comes clear down into the foreground with the water. Maybe we should do that because it is a little different. Let's just do our water at least. I know we're running short on time at this point. Let's get our water in. So we're going to hit our banks again. We're going to have to define where our banks go. And that's a good thing to do with our brown. That really helps us define where things are. You guys got your boxing gloves? You got to admit, I have really cool ringtone. It's not like you're in the, not that I spend a lot of time in the supermarket these days, but it's not like you're in the supermarket and everybody checks their phones. They just want to know who has the cool ringtone. I kind of liked on this one, on this foreground here, to kind of make this grassy. I thought that was kind of cool down there. These really are fun. And on this one, I kind of put in some text, some brown texture under the trees a little bit. I brought the brown clear back in here. Just kind of took a few liberties with the brown on this one. And then I'm going to come in front of the brown with my blue to create my water. Now, right here, I did something I don't want you to do. See how my blue is all just kind of in a straight line? It's not going to be in a straight line in nature. Arc that out, bring it around, make it wider and less wide. You don't want a line there. You're going to find very few straight lines like that. You're not going to see that. So I'm going to come in and around. And it's nice because we have this whole area in front that can be our water. So we can really play with our water. And water can be really fun. Water can be really fun. What was loud, Kathy girl?
The ringtone, maybe?
Oh, the ringtone was really
I
loud.
don't know. I'm guessing. 'Cause I
Was
can't
it?
see the screen.
Was that especially loud? I'm sorry. Wow. I didn't realize. Okay. Sorry if I hurt your ears. Didn't mean to. Okay. Let's give this a little.
And it's far away from our microphone in comparison.
Yeah, it really is. The microphone's pretty sensitive. And got quite a bit of green area here, so I'm kind of using a couple different colors of green. Oh, she should have some nice variation in your green in nature. We talked about that before.
She said that Kathy Girl said, no, it's fine. It just made me laugh when it came in. It did not hurt my ears.
Okay. Okay. Just
And then she's
checking.
glad she didn't have her headphones on. Okay. And because I couldn't read information while I was cutting, let me go back just a little bit. Thelma said I did not use gasoline to cost powder. Put that word in. What? Oh, it looks like she had said that she had used gasoline. But she's saying no, that's not what she meant to. It just was supposed
The
to.
Gamasol. I did not use Gamasol to cost. Yeah.
Mary R says I've used paint thinner, but not the kind that you use on regular paintbrushes. It was artist grade. And thank you for the reminder, Mary R, to give those thumbs up. I'm slacking on my job of doing the ticker.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. You guys always make me feel good when you give thumbs up. I like it very much. It's like my attaboy. Keep it going. You like what you're seeing and it has value to you. Now, this is a really neat thing that you can do. You can layer, in this case, I'm layering my post because I want my post to be heavier and not bendable. But you can actually cut the same, the die cut or the same image several times and layer them up to create a chipboard kind of a feel to the elements you're adding to your card with really neat results, guys. So think about doing that sometimes. I just want a little bit more
and really quick, Debbie,
warmth to this.
Berta said to Kathy Girl, what she did was get a 2-ounce Ranger Top applicator by Stupendous and filled it about halfway. And she said that she thinks that you have them. So I'm asking you because I don't recall.
Use a 2 what now?
Ounce Ranger Top applicator. By
I don't
Stupendous.
think I do.
I don't remember seeing them. That's why.
Yeah, I don't think I do. The other day I stammered and stuttered over the new arrival date of the stamp no, of the boards, the explosion boards. I went back and looked at the last email, and the new projected arrival date was 5/5. I should never try to remember things because I screwed up. But the new projected arrival is 5/5. They have 18 of them coming, and hopefully we'll get the lion's share of those, if not all of them. I have asked for all of them. I don't know if they'll let me get away with that, but I try.
Mary, are the big paper pad that Debbie is using is the Essentials card block?
Yes, I love this. If you don't have one of these in your stamping, these are the ones I put in your kits all the time. I use pages out of these. These are wonderful. It's the same grade paper that's in the full sheets. And you get a ton of it for 11 something. I'll link them in the newsletter, Mary R. They have a 6-inch and an 8-inch one, and they're wonderful. You get 75 pages, I think, in the 8-inch one, and I believe, you know me in numbers, but I believe it's 100 in the 6-inch one, and they're less than $12. So they're really a good deal.
And yes, Roberta, those are the Hunky Dory.
Yeah, from Hunky Dory. Yep. I tore my cover off, or I'd show you the cover, but you can see it. It's called the Essential Card Pad. And they're in the Adorable, Scoreable, and Other Cardstock section of Hunky Dory. But I'll link them for you too. I wondered if you guys really found the links as, helpful. And you guys have sure filled that question in for me. It's like, yes. I think the number one thing you guys appreciated about the newsletter was the links to products. So that told me that was worth doing, continuing to do. So that's good to know. And you guys also really zeroed in on I got quite a bit of feedback about kind of profiles of our customers. There were quite a few people who thought that was a good idea. I haven't seen the final numbers yet, but it would be fun to just interview a few of you and show your picture so people can see what you look like. And, especially those of you that we talk to all the time and profile some of our customers, if you're willing to be profiled and willing to kind of be featured in our, I really kind of miss my birds up there. So if you guys are willing to be profiled, just say their names out loud, Margie, if you would, on any feedback that they give about that, and then I can write those down when I go through them. That one's done. And how are we doing on time? Because I want to hold pretty close to 2 hours. Are we there?
6:04.
It's 6:04. Okay. We'll give it about 5 more minutes here, and then I think we're going to sign off because I want to honor those time frames. One of the other things you guys said is keep them under 2 hours. And that was pretty consistent. So you can tell that what we're talking about in the newsletter, we are really serious about, sometimes I have to make business decisions, but for the most part, there's no reason why the survey can't drive a lot of our decision making. So you can kind of see where we're getting our watercolors there, guys. We've already done the sky a couple times, so I don't think we need to do that. And I think we're well on the way to this. When we cover our card with our black cardstock, cut it down to be our image will be 3 7/8 by 5 5 5/8, because it's going to fit on the European A6 card. And that'll give you a 1/8" border all the way around. So we good on this one?
Mary has a question.
Okay.
What would you want to do with your profile? Is it just the picture of them, or
just a picture of them, where you're from, what your crafty likes are, how long you've been doing it, how long you've been a customer with us, and what do you like about the community, sort of thing. It's just, we don't, no, I'm not putting anything on Facebook. We're just going to do a paragraph or two and a photo. It'll be just in the newsletter. Just in the newsletter. So it's completely up to you guys. But a picture and just kind of a little blurb, just to kind of give you guys more of a sense of being connected to each other. Because when you know what each other looks like and stuff, that can be nice. Okay, so this one we didn't get to today, but I cut a mask over the top of these. Okay, so I stamped this and then cut a mask, bringing it down and around so that I could get a nice sharp line across here. The other thing you could do, really, there's no you could, no, you pretty much need to mask off the bottom of these boots and stuff, but bring your mask down, and then you're going to mask off this part so you have a nice clean line. And we're going to kind of do what we did with the sky, except that in this case, I will tell you, to get this really rich color, I actually applied the stamp pad directly to the cardstock to get that nice bold color in there. And then we know about color blending. I confessed that I actually used the gel plate to create these backgrounds, and we'll look at that in a couple weeks when the supplies get here for the gel plates. But in the meantime, nothing says that you can't come in with your blenders, and your soft colors and create those backgrounds. We know how to do that. We've done lots of that color blending. So,
Roberta wanted to know how your visit was with your mom.
My visit with my mom was great. The very first thing I did was walk in, and she kind of had this tentative look on her face. Oh, here's look, I saved them. Oh, look at me. She kind of had a tentative look on her face, like, am I supposed to come to you? Am I supposed to stay back? What am I supposed to do? And I walked across the room and I gave her a huge bear hug, and I didn't let go for like 3 minutes. And she said, that feels really good. I said, it does, doesn't it? A huge bear hug. Here's my masks I cut, guys. I forgot I kept them. So then I took my stamp pad itself and I rubbed across here to get that really deep, rich color. And then when you take your masks back off, you have a very defined edge. Okay? So that's how I did those. And then after I laid out my card and saw where things were going to fit, then before I put my stuff down, I just put my card itself on my stamp platform and stamped these 2 words just right into the corners. And that way I could work around those when I put my other pieces down. Oh, it was really, really nice to see my mom. Really nice to see my mom. We spent the whole afternoon up there, and I got my favorite fish and chips in the world, Captain Yobi's halibut beer battered halibut fish and chips. They are so good, aren't they, Brittany? Yeah. Yep. Brittany says, yep. There's.
Really, it's the tartar sauce.
It is the tartar sauce. It's the tartar sauce together with the beer batter. Although the fact that their batter is just ever so slightly sweet, I think really adds to it. You kind of got the tartness of the pickle-based tartar sauce, and then you've got that tiny bit of sweet in the. It's just so good. Okay, let's talk about what we have accomplished here today, what we've done. We did this one, and we probably are, the thing I wanted most for you guys to see is how cool a skyline you can get with this mask. And then using your blender tool to put a little bit lighter ink up here, and then use your blender tool and get it dark along the mountains, and then let it model a little bit as you come up, because that is a cool skyline. And, you know, of course, then we got our bird. If you get stray ink, make a bird. Put a bird on it, Margie.
Yep, put a bird on it.
Put a bird on it.
Kathy says good night.
Good night, Kathy. And the other thing on this one was we needed to alter our stamped image just a little bit. So we defined a shoreline. And then once we defined our shoreline and brought that back, then we could color our foreground, and we would have a good place for our guy to walk. We stamped our words, home and love, going one direction, and escape and adventure, or journey and adventure. This one says home and happiness. We doubled that up so that we'd have a really nice, solid sign there. We colored everything except where our words were going to really make our words stand out. And we left our mountains in this one completely white. The techniques we used on this one were pretty much the same, except that we brought our water line clear to the front of the card. Since we didn't have the hiker here, we could do that. And so we just didn't define a shoreline. We just brought it clear to the front. And otherwise, it's pretty much the same techniques on this one. On this one, we talked about masking this off to get a really defined wall line there. So our boots were sitting on the floor and our backpack sitting on the floor, leaned up against the wall. And what's our other one? Didn't we do one more? Our hiker. What did I do with that other one? Didn't we have 2 hikers? Oh, the walk. Is that what I knocked off a minute ago? We used our, finally, we used our, they're there. They were under my platform. Yeah. And on this one, we used our footprints around, and we are only using part of our stamp to get a nice even footprint around. So we don't have to run clear off the sides and overlap. We could actually use pieces of our stamp to get this nice uniform footprint around here. So that's kind of fun too. And this one, we just created just a very narrow piece of image and created that nice border around it. So those are the techniques we've talked about today. Saturday, we're doing some of my favorites. This is going to be an extra long class. They should go pretty fast because we don't have a lot of hugely involved cards. I did put a few of my roses on here. If you have roses made ahead of time, that would be useful for those of you who have roses. And this is going to just be fun, quick, wonderful way to just whip through and get a lot of cards done in a short period of time. I think we will run about 3 hours on Saturday because we are doing 9 cards. Maybe even, well, we probably won't finish the other one. There's one that we decided to, it's actually called Essential Card Block. It's in the, go to Hunky Dory and look at the Adorable Scoreable and other cardstock. The Essential Block will be on the first page of those.
The SKUs are ECB 101, 2, and 3.
We only have 2, don't we?
No, there's 3 and 5.
We have a new size?
It's not new. You just didn't buy 100 of them.
Oh. Brittany says that the SKUs of those are ECB, Essential Card Block, ECB 101, 102, 103. Evidently, there's another size that I haven't been using. Well, I need to check that out because I bought them, but I haven't used them. So there we go. Okay. So do we have any questions, comments, or pearls of wisdom before we say good night here? Anybody? Sure love having you with us, and I really, really appreciate the fact that you guys are filling out that survey. Thank you. If you haven't done it yet, please whip over and do that. If you couldn't get the survey to load out of your email, it may be some of it because of the pad, but I think if you go to the one that's in, just flip over, if you would, when you leave here, go to What's New Wednesday. And down in the comments of What's New Wednesday, I put the address too. Maybe you can click on it there. You can also copy that address and put it up in your browser. Can you point, Margie? Is there any way that you can point to what the browser address line is so people know where to paste that?
Browser address line?
Maybe if you,
like this?
Yeah. Can you guys see that?
Browser
Can you
address
see
line.
her? Yeah, if you can copy that address and post it up there, and that will give you the ability to get into that survey. So everybody's opinions are important. And like I said, it's going to be a really, we're going to make some all positive changes, I think. So thank you very much. And I'm going to say, good night, Gracie. I'm looking forward to your feedback then on the Jello printing, because the same things will work on the gel plate, Thelma. So, yeah. But we'll talk, okay? Good night, Gracie.